Hi from my platform, LYNDA'S TV show. If it is your first time, you are welcome. Please, after watching this video, if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe, put on your notification bell to all notification. It is very, very important because it will enable you to know when I upload a new video. Here we upload videos on daily basis as it is happening. We are bringing it live and direct, undirected to you. After watching, you are free to criticize, you are free to say your opinion, but let us say it constructively. Myself, Linda, will be standing here watching this video together with you from the beginning to the end. Then we'll go to the comment section. I appreciate you all, my loving subscribers, followers, those who comment and share this video as we watch the video right now.
Clarity must always be sought. And any clarity without unequivocal truth that speaks to everyone, truth that can be tested and proven. If you cannot test it, if you cannot prove it, if it does not speak to you, if it is not clear enough, if it's not transparent enough, if it's not naked enough, then you don't have to accept it until these things become obvious to you. But as we explain things coming from spiritual realm and translating them into the physical, your job is to test it. Your job is to check whether it is relevant to you. Your job is to be honest in your evaluation so that you can either take it or leave it. We speak because the truth must be unleashed on this earth to the hearing of everyone, because the truth offers every free-willed individual the opportunity to use the same free will to reposition themselves to the light, or decide to carry on in darkness. However, the truth then ensures that no one, and I mean no one, will be able to plead ignorant of the truth, or would deny and say, I never heard, I never saw the truth. The truth will reveal itself to every soul. But stubborn liars would not want to see the nakedness of the truth. They will shy away from the nakedness of the truth. They will feel embarrassed. They will try to cover it up. They will try to bury it so it doesn't. But people don't know that the worst crime you commit about the truth is to bury it. That's the worst thing you do. The truth you can't defeat. If you leave it, okay, it will destroy you as a liar. If you bury it, it will even be more potent, because you bury it, no matter how deep, it will germinate and it will bear more fruits that will haunt the lies and drive lies. So you can't actually defeat the truth. Now, there is a reason why I've come to speak, because I had a meeting yesterday and a lot of issues came up, and after those issues came up, I went into reflection, and from my reflection I've come to speak so we can straighten out certain muddy areas of life for clarity purposes. And I've come to the conclusion that atheism, or whatever we call the atheists, as far as we know, for me, and I'm making it bold and clear, is simply denial. Okay? If you ask me now to define atheism or atheist, atheist, I would tell you it is denial. Why would I say that? Because everything must start from creation. If you don't start from there, then you will start either feeling grandiose about what you can and cannot do, you will start confusing your brain and you won't be sure whether you are animals, whether you are God, or whether you are. So if you don't capture the beginning, then you are lost. It's as simple as that. Every journey has a beginning. You can't just suddenly say you started in the middle. You're confused. You must find the root. Okay? Every tree has a root. Every house has a foundation. Everything in this world must have a base. Otherwise, it is non-existent. Trust me. So, let's start from clearing that dust so that you know that atheism, anybody who says there is no Big Bang, the person is in denial. And let me tell you now, those that are entitled to say there is no Big Bang. Big Bang means Chukwokike. Big Bang means God. Big Bang means Jehovah. Big Bang means the creator, the owner of everything we see. The only people or the only person who is entitled to say that there is no Big Bang is the only one who can prove to us that they not only created this world, but they provided everything that is in this world. Everything meaning the seen and unseen things. Because like I said to everybody, the resources in this world are limitless. They are limitless because they are embedded in mortal beings. That's what people don't know. And I can go into extensive thing in explaining that. Now, it's important I repeat what I've just said. The only person and the only people who are entitled to say there was no Big Bang, there is no God, there is no Chukwokike, there is no Jehovah, there is no Creator. It is only those who can prove to us that they did not only create this world and everything in it, that they made themselves, or prove to us that their parents made themselves and brought themselves into this world and created this world, or prove to us that their ancestors, who were mere mortal beings that came through the same process that we came, but they have to now prove to us that their ancestors created the world, brought everything, planted everything in the world, seen and unseen, and then brought themselves into this world. Those are the only people entitled to say there was no Big Bang. For your information, science, which is man-made, recognizes God very, very well, because science accepted that it did not create anything and that it does not have capacity to create anything. Okay? Science accepts that the only thing it can do is to discover certain things. It can't even discover everything. Science accepts that it is only here to try to discover things as much as it can discover, or to, after discovering things as much as it can discover, recreate things from the things that it has discovered. That is, it can only discover. In fact, the mere existence of science is dependent upon the things that were created before man, and before man recreated science, because it was man. Man-made science is given by man, is delivered by man. So if it doesn't make sense to you, then it is not. Don't take it to be true. So please, as I speak, bring it home to yourself and ask yourself, could this be true? You see, That's why I don't deal with complexities when it comes to dealing with the truth. So that the truth must relate to you. And you are now allowed to deny it because you're a liar. Or you accept it because you believe in the truth, because you can see that it is relevant to you. So, science in itself accepts that it was not responsible for creating anything whatsoever, and that it has no capacity in this world to create anything brand new. That its existence, okay, wouldn't have been possible without the things that were already created before the introduction of man. Man, who in turn gave birth to science. So science had no role to play in creation. Okay, now science accepts that. But scientists who are weird, okay, well, they're not weird. It's just that they just want to deny something, a name given to God by religious people who say God, Big Bang is God, the creator. So science now chose a name just to differ, just to, the scientists that just don't want to accept anything religious, gave God a name called Big Bang. Big Bang, as far as they are concerned, was responsible for everything in this world. Big Bang, because science accepts, these scientists accept that science couldn't have created anything. These scientists that don't want to have use any religious word, okay, accepted, okay, that science has no capacity to create anything new in terms of create out of nothing, okay, because science will always use something already in the world to recreate something new. It has to be recreated from things that had already been created. Science accepts all these things. These scientists also acknowledge that the world couldn't have just turned up without something triggering it. That's why they gave it Big Bang. Okay? I hope you're following me, because this is very important. We're looking at the foundation now, so we can move on to other things that are critical. They accepted that it will never be possible for science to deliver anything. That science can only go into discovering things that had already been placed here on Earth. And science can only make use of those things it discovers to recreate something else. So these scientists accepted that and gave God the name Big Bang. Now, is as far as every human being, every mortal being, doesn't matter whether you are suggesting that you are an animal or you are you evolved from ape. That means you were ape before and then you suddenly turned into a mortal being, or that you are a primate to ape. As long as you accept that you did not bring yourself into this world, as long as you accept that you did not bring anything into this world, as long as you accept that your parents did not bring themselves into this world, as long as you accept that your parents did not bring anything into this world, as long as you accept that your ancestors did not bring themselves into this world by themselves, and that they did not bring anything into this world, then you are psychotic if you say there was no Big Bang, there is no God, there is no Chukwu Okike, that nothing was responsible for all that we saw when we got into this world. And we are definitely sure that nobody brought. We know nobody brought the sky. We know nobody brought the land. If there was no land, how would we have given birth? Where would we have stood? How would we have had gardens, had built roads? So, because it just does not make sense. Science also had confirmed that for there to be a reaction, an action must have taken place. So you couldn't have had a world where there are trees that no human being brought into the world, where there are seeds that no human being, no mortal being brought into the world, where there are grass nobody brought, where there are animals, birds, no human being brought, no human being created, where you haven't come into a world where there are seas and oceans. In fact, 71% of this earth, this world, is covered in water. Okay, so it is actually a sign of mental disorder for one who wasn't responsible for their own arrival in this world, and wasn't responsible for bringing in anything, to start saying that there is no God, there is no Big Bang, because Big Bang is the name. So once you know that you did not come by yourself, that your parents didn't come by themselves, that your ancestors didn't come by themselves, and nobody brought anything into this world, whatever name, whatever then you fabricated as the reason for the things that you see, it doesn't matter what you call that, you are referring to Chukwu Okike. Okay? As far as, so forget about all this debate about whether there was God or there wasn't God. I'm not religious. I forget all about that. Listen, the summary is this. As far as you accept that you didn't create the world and you brought nothing into the world, okay? Whatever name, however you describe how the world came to be, however you describe how all the things we see, because everything we see came from Chukwu Okike, came from Big Bang. It doesn't matter whether it is a house, a cup, everything, the mobile phone, it doesn't matter what it is, the houses, the cars, the ammunition, everything you see come from Chukwu Okike, okay? Because you only need to, if mortal beings were to disappear from this world right now, yeah, even the houses we built out of the creation of God, yeah, out of the raw materials God left on this earth, yeah, they will begin to return back to nature. No animal can maintain anything, because that's why, you know, we are coming. Biafra is coming to bring light to the world. So everything, including the cars we drive, you know, people don't even know why, if you bought a brand new car and you leave it in the garage, it will start depreciating and you're not using it, okay? A car that is not used, okay, will suffer more default than a car that is running every day. People don't know that. Because God gave power to man. God uses man in this world to give life to things, to recreate things. That's why we are mortal beings, because we carry the Spirit of God. We carry that breath of God to recreate. God is the creator, but He's given us the power to recreate, to alter things. It's so easy to understand. It makes itself very easy to appreciate. No animal has that. no animal at all. So once you accept that you did not create this world and you did not bring anything into this world, then you must be insane to say there is no God, there is no Big Bang, because Big Bang is the name some crazy scientist gave God. Okay? Anything you claim to have been responsible for the creation of this earth is the name you have given God. Whether you want to now accept that that is the thing or not, that is it. You've given God, and then because you've accepted that you yourself were not responsible for the creation of this earth. You have accepted that this world came to be because of something. That something is whatever name you called God. Whether you want to accept it or not, that one is to do with your relative mental state. So it's important we get this out of the way. And I hope people have understood it. Because as far as we know, when scientists who are confused gave God the name Big Bang, okay? Even though they didn't quite mean it to be God, because they just want to be in denial, okay? What they are saying there is that they are not responsible, that science was not responsible for creation. What they are saying there is science has no capacity to create anything. What they're saying there is that science is dependent on things that had already been created in order to perform. What they're saying there is quite simply that something was responsible for the creation of this world before science was introduced. So they are acknowledging the presence of God by giving God the name Big Bang. But then, because of their condition, okay, they are confused. They can't tell you that that Big Bang is actually the name they've chosen to give God. Because we all have terminologies for God. In my local dialect, we call it Chukwokike. Others call Yahweh, others call Jehovah, others call God. Other scientists who are confused give God the name Big Bang. Atheists, those that say there is no God, as far as I know, their second name, the true definition of an atheist, is confusion and denial. Okay? Until they pronounce how the world came about. It doesn't matter how they pronounce it, so long as they accept that the world didn't come through them. So whatever they describe as a means of having this world and all that is in it, that is the name they have chosen to give God. The only person who is entitled to say there is no God, okay, is the one that claims to be God. And the only way you can claim to be God, you can claim to be Big Bang, is for you to prove to the world that you did not come out of a woman's womb. That means you launched yourself into this world. And before you launched yourself into this world, you had already created the world. That means the world was existing before you launched yourself into it. And that you created the sun, that you created the trees, that you created all the animals, you created the air, you created the seas, that you own the sky. Okay? You have to show proof to that. So long as you can't show that proof, you are only in denial when you say there was no Big Bang, or when you deny to give God a name. It doesn't matter what description you make. Once you can make that description or make that definition, then we know you're referring to God, because there's just no other way. I hope this is clear. So let all this nonsense about playing games with words, let it stop. Let us be clear about things. Now, I want to move on very quickly to those who, because I've seen this battle about self. Some people will say to you, now, it's my body, it's how I want to use it, or it doesn't matter, it's not your business, blah, blah, blah. I want to nothing wrong in saying that. It's just that when we haven't actually reflected very well, we make all sorts of assumptions and we claim so many things. Now, I just want to send a quick message to everybody who thinks that the South is all important. I want to remind such people that the South actually does not exist. The South has no meaning. The only thing that gave the South meaning is others, because without others, the South does not exist. Think about it. It must take two, whether we like it or not. It must take two before the South can emerge. People need to please understand this, because we're dealing with the truth. It doesn't matter how the world evolves and whatever you call new technology, certain principles of God, certain principles of creation, certain principles of nature can never be challenged nor changed. They are stagnant. They must remain stagnant. It doesn't matter what we do. Don't forget that the only essence of man here is simply to replenish the earth, to work and make visible things in physical terms that the spirit couldn't do on earth. And that's why God depends on us, and we depend on God. Okay? God depends on us, and we depend on God. We have to ask God to come and use us. And also God also can ask us if in fact, God has given us an invitation and to say, look, I'm here. If you need me, if you need to bring heaven into the world, and you need me to come with you, I'm going to come with you, and we're going to make things happen. When God says, when two or more come together and agree in my name, I'll be present. Okay? And whatever you destined here on earth will be confirmed. And if you loosen, it will be loosened, both here and on earth and in heaven. These are potent scripture. These are potent, awesome, because that's why it must always take two for things to really come to fruition. You can have as much idea as you want to have. It will never happen. I could have an idea of how I want to have a baby and this and that, but it will never happen until somebody else is happy to do it with me. It's just an example I'm giving you, not that I'm done with children now. I've got too many. Okay, so without going too far of it, I just wanted those who are thinking of self to understand one thing, that the self has no meaning. The self does not exist. So the self will never come to be except for the two. Now, I need to walk it this way so you understand. Others are responsible for bringing the self into this world. It must take two to give life to the self. It must take more than two for the self to survive here on earth. And it must take others to send the self out of this world. I want to repeat it so you understand.
Thank you so much for sticking to this video to the end. Like I said before, now it's time for us to go to the comment section to air our mind and our opinion. Say what you think about this video and this platform. Do it constructively. Share this video, like, subscribe, and also continue to watch Linda's TV show, because this is the home of news. Until I see you again in my next video, Remain blessed. For now, I would say bye-bye.